Good morning, everybody, and I would begin directly with my paper. My paper is entitled Rereading Globalization Without Blinkers, Arvind Adiga's The White Tiger and Pseudo-Democratic India. A powerful dissenting voice, Asian, Indian, male, fresh, at times irreverently satirical, at others overtly critical, screams out against the gaudy yet insidious dance macabre of neo-colonial consumerism performed in unholy alliance with internal repressive regimes as sedated masses loudly clap their own violation. To Arvind Adiga, winner of the Man Booker Prize 2008, and of course we have been debating about the granting of prizes, to Adiga, 21st century globalized shining India is also the India of the fatal schizophrenic split, India of light and India of darkness. He portrays the ocean as the harbinger of light. Any place on the map of India, be it city, town or village, is destined to be well off. Conversely, the river Ganga is the phenomenal dark river, ushering in darkness to the interiors of India. And it is the right to choice, as Adiga astutely observes, that divides the two Indias. Unsurprisingly then, Delhi, the capital of both Indias, is also two cities. Gurgaon is the bright modern exterior, while Old Delhi, and I quote, full of things that the modern world forgot all about, namely rickshaws, old stone buildings, and Muslims, is the unenviable maggoty interior. Balram Halwai, Adiga's remarkable protagonist, driver of a posh Honda City, a dark air-conditioned egg, is intensely aware of the two Delhis, the one inside and the other outside his egg. Balram has successfully maneuvered the threshold to cross over onto the right side, but he knows deep within that had his father, an honest rickshaw puller, been alive, he would be sitting on the pavement, cooking ice cruel for dinner, and getting ready to lie down and sleep under the street lamp. Disparity between the rich and the poor, as Adiga points out, is not a new phenomenon across cultures, continents, or time. To him, the history of the world can be encapsulated as the history of a 10,000-year war of brains between the rich and the poor, with each side eternally trying to hoodwink the other. But globalization seems to have riveted the entire world on its very axis. Glitter and glamour on one side, and the screaming, senior mirror image on the other. Adiga's is an unabashed portrayal of globalized, glittering, outsourcing giant, 21st century India, an India where a rich man's body is like a premium cotton pillow, white and soft and blank, while a poor man has his life written on his body in a sharp pen. And unsurprisingly, the people who build this new India, the India of shopping malls, skyscrapers, and five-star hotels, live in tents covered with blue tarpaulin sheets in lanes partitioned by lines of sewage. Although the newspaper article captioned, "Is there no space for the poor in the malls of New India?" seems a bit overdrawn, as also the story of the man in sandals who is not allowed to enter a mall and explodes in understandable rage. Am I not a human being too? One needs to appreciate Adiga's compassionate yet sardonic portrayal of the intense desire of those in the darkness to cross over the threshold onto the beckoning light. To Balram Halwai, a single murder is a small price to pay to cross over from darkness to light. And I quote him, "Isn't it likely that everyone who counts in this world, including our Prime Minister, has killed someone or other on their way to the top? Kill enough people and they'll put up bronze statues to you near Parliament House in Delhi. All I wanted was a chance to be a man, and for that, one murder was enough." Perhaps this obsessive-compulsive desire to cross over from darkness to light converts thousands of Balrams into psychopaths in our new India. Balram Halwai, deeply conscious of the sheer arbitrariness of political legal India, is almost certain that his crime would never be detected in the India of light. I have switched sides. I am one of those who cannot be caught in India. No wonder this self-styled, half-baked entrepreneur and endless talker envisions a Bakhtinian carnivalesque future. He plans to shift from his startup of Toyota Quali's pickup drop service to real estate and finally to an English language school for the poor children of Bangalore. And I quote, "A school where you won't be allowed to corrupt anyone's head with prayers and stories about God or Gandhi." He dreams of unleashing these English language speaking children of darkness into the India of light and is certain of his unequivocal victory someday. To Adiga, India has never been free. His tone dangerously mocking and irreverent often borders on the flippant. First the Muslims, then the British bossed us around. In 1947, the British left, but only a moron would think that we became free then. One only needs to quote a couple of sentences from the memoirs of Sadat Hasan Manto, the remarkable Urdu writer, to recall the colossal cost of independence, the brutal communal bloodlettings, the partition. I quote from Manto, "Now that we were free, had subjection ceased to exist? Were we even free? Thousands of Hindus and Muslims were dying all around us. Why were they dying?" One should not, of course, compare Adiga with Manto. But one also cannot ignore the similarity in their incisive, corrosive satire. To Manto, the partition exposed the Satan in every man, class, creed, or religion notwithstanding. India was free, Pakistan was free from the moment of its birth, but man was a slave in both countries of prejudice, of religious fanaticism, of bestiality, of cruelty. Adiga too denotes 1947 as a critical year for India, the year which changed destinies, where jungle laws replaced zoo laws. In the old days, there were 1,000 castes and destinies in India. These days, there are just two castes, men with big bellies and men with small bellies, and only two destinies, eat or get eaten up. To Arvind Adiga, post-independence 21st century India is a globalized half-baked India run by half-baked entrepreneurs. Half-baked, for thousands of India are never allowed to complete their schooling. Unsurprisingly then, in Adiga's caustic canvas, the great Indian democracy is nothing but a hollow sham. As Balram Halwai nonchalantly comments, one fact about India is that you can take almost anything you hear about the country from the Prime Minister and turn it upside down, and then you will have the truth about that thing. No wonder then Halwai, murderer turned half-baked entrepreneur, India's most faithful voter, has never seen the inside of a voting booth. Unsurprisingly too, is the fact that votes in India are never cast by genuine voters. I have seen 12 elections, 5 general, 5 state, 2 local, and someone else has voted for me 12 times. The devastatingly candid Nigerian author Chinua Achebe also shows the reduction of the election process to a mere farce in post-independence democratic Nigeria. Chief the Honorable Marcus Ibe was doing things in grand style. He had hired a high-life band from Umuru and stationed it at such a distance from the voting booths as just managed to be lawful. Many villagers danced to the music, their ballot papers held aloft before proceeding to the booths. Achebe also portrays unfazed the utterly despicable use of the female body by powerful politicians during election time in Nigeria. Chief Coco's resourceful wife was leading the women's wing of the POP in an operation that one might describe as breastfeeding the ballot, that is, smuggling into the polling booth bags of ballot paper concealed in their brasiers. Attica's great Indian democracy is naturally governed by worthy representatives of the people, politicians like the great socialist who has only 93 criminal cases pending against him for minor offences such as murder, rape, grand larceny, gun smuggling, pimping, etc. 3 of his ministers continue to serve the cause of democracy even from the jail. All great Indian politicians, leaders like the great socialist, are endowed with special make or break either or faces. The face says that it is now at peace, and you can be at peace too if you follow the owner of that face. But the same face can also say, with a little twitch of its features, that it has known the opposite of peace, and it can make this other fate yours too. No wonder then these faces command absolute servitude in a so-called democracy. Attica, in a characteristic irreverent tick, likens these politicians to Indian gods who perform awfully little work for the people, yet keep winning re-election to their golden thrones in heaven year after year. Like Nawal el-Saadawi, the noted Egyptian right activist, Attica's is a Foucauldian suspicion of all discourse. The linguistic games of the so-called postmodern era suffocate her. Saadawi categorically warns that words such as democracy, family planning, globalization, postmodernism, education, and even human rights often conceal modern forms of colonization. Language has double meaning. Peace means war, democracy means oppression. We find ourselves lost in an avalanche of words. To Balram Halwai, the essential difference between a murderer and a politician or a parliamentarian in 21st century democratic India is that while these extraordinary men can kill and move on as if nothing had happened, a murderer cannot. This is a country where a judge can be dragged down from his own court and beaten by his own lawyers for an order they do not like, and the matter is not reported to the press. It is a country of rampant corruption where half-baked entrepreneurs with someone else's money can do magic. And the system functions with the tacit support of an equally corrupt and shameless police. In Attica's India, the police would just not register a case if a man on a bicycle gets killed. If a man on a motorbike gets killed, they condescend to register that. But if a man in a car gets killed, the culprit is thrown into jail. Democratic 21st century India can thus perhaps be likened to the notorious Barmecide feast of the Arabian Nights, the sorry dictum of that feast being a feast of equals where some are more equal than others. Gandhi's India, to use Balram Halwai's favorite expression with the permission of the audience, has become a fucking joke where swearing is against traditions, but giving and taking bribes isn't. Mahashweta Devi, internationally acclaimed writer, human rights activist, in her remarkable inaugural address at the Frankfurt Book Fair 2006, succinctly portrayed the pathos that undercuts the heart of glittering, globalized 21st century India. I quote her, "This is truly the age where the juta, shoe, is Japani, Japanese, patloon, pants, is Englishtani, British, the topi, hat, is Rusi, Russian, but the dil, hurt, is Hindustani, Indian, my country, torn, tattered, proud, beautiful, hot, humid, cold, sandy, shining India, my country." Unquote. India rising, India shining, Attica's 21st century India is the India of thousands of techno-savvy entrepreneurs, but no drinking water, no electricity, no sewage system, no public transportation, no sense of hygiene, discipline, courtesy, punctuality. Outsourcing, doing things in India for Americans over the phone, is the global mantra. Indian outsourcing giants supposedly run America. In Halwai's words, everything flows from outsourcing: real estate, wealth, power, sex. Balram Halwai's is a chilling certainty that the future belongs to yellow men and brown men, the two outsourcing giants, China and India. In 20 years' time, it will be just us, yellow men and brown men at the top of the pyramid, and we'll rule the world and God save everyone else. White men, he is overtly confident, will be finished within his own lifetime, but the erstwhile master has wasted himself through buggery, mobile phone usage, and drug abuse. Balram Halwai chooses not to involve the blacks and the reds in this race. Like most people in our contemporary times, he has very little knowledge about them. That outsourcing, a covert neo-colonial tactique, has successfully converted Indian men and women into forest animals, sleeping in the day and working all night, compelled to follow the time schedule of the white American master, is of course conveniently conceived. To Arvind Adiga, media, the so-called fourth pillar of democracy, operates shamelessly as the handmaiden of a corrupt, hypocritical regime which never clarifies its stand on any controversial issue. Open any newspaper in this country and it's always this crap. A certain interested party has been spreading rumors. A certain religious community doesn't believe in contraceptions, so on. This regime, as also the media, is run by passionless, apathetic men without any conviction, whether right or wrong, men whom Dante would have wished to suspend upside down in his purgatorio. The regime cooks mythic dishes: malaria eradication, malnutrition eradication, converting villages into high technology paradises, and the media feeds these dream dishes to sedate the famished Indian masses. And people just swallow this crap. Regime and media run a successful politico-cultural brainwashing machinery in India, something akin to Satyajit Ray's Mogoj Tholai Chantro in his classic film Hero Krajar Deshe, Kingdom of Diamonds. In the film, the heads of the poor, rebellious peasants of the land are literally thrust into the machine by the upholders of the regime. So powerful is this brainwashing machine that in an instant it remolds and spews out zombie heads loudly praising Hirokraja, the king. The making of Hanuman, saffron-colored creature, half man, half monkey, faithful servant of god Rama, into the favorite god of the Indian masses, is to Adiga a singular example of successfully engineered brainwashing. Hanuman, a shining example of how to serve your masters with absolute fidelity, love and devotion as mass appeal. The uncomprehending Indian masses, religio-culturally seduced by such gods, an alternative version of what the native Canadian writer-activist Lee Maracle would call ideological processing plants, cannot even dream of freedom. And in Adiga's sardonic portrayal, globalized India would indeed be paradise on earth. To American high-tech, user-friendly facilities would be superadded the economically viable services of the Indian servant, doped by larger-than-life images of the perfect servant Hanuman. In the African context, especially in Egypt, Nawal El-Saadawi exposes the combined assault of international capital, fundamentalism, authoritarian governments, the media, and educational institutes as, and she calls it, a war on the mind of the people. An insidious campaign carefully designed to control and domesticate the thinking of the people, to successfully conceive, perpetuate, reinforce, and even rationalize the eco-cultural play of international corporate capital. Such lethal brainwashing that anesthetizes the mind and constructs a false consciousness is, as Saadawi points out, the prerequisite facilitator that conceals the ulterior design of capital, its ruthless sport with lands and lives. A similar brand of religio-cultural dope breeds grotesque misconceptions about religion, castes and tribes among the Indian masses. Balram Halwai's comments about the Muslim community in India is an interesting blend of religio-cultural brainwashing combined with his reading of Muslim poets and his own experiences with the community. All, and I quote Balram Halwai, all four of the greatest poets in the world are Muslim, yet all the Muslims you meet are illiterate or covered head to toe in black burqas or looking for buildings to blow up. Or again, I have come to respect Muslims. They are not the brightest lot, but they are honest people, although a few of them seem to get this urge to blow trains up every year. To Attica, 99.9 Indians are trapped in what he calls the Great Indian Rooster Coup. It is an amazing and colossal phenomenon whereby 99.9% of strong, talented, intelligent Indians are successfully trained by a mere handful to exist in perpetual servitude. A servitude so strong and pervasive that, as Halwai points out, even if you put the key of emancipation in a man's own hands, he will throw it back at you with a curse. To Adiga, the great Indian family is the sole reason behind the phenomenal success of the Rooster Coup. It not only traps millions, but also prevents a single mortal from breaking out. Only a man, and I quote, prepared to see his family destroyed, hunted, beaten, and burned alive by his masters can break out of this coup, unquote. Attica's portrayal of modern Indian feudalism may appear slightly off-key and exaggerated. All four of the animals lived in high-walled mansions just outside Lakshmangarh, the landlord's quarters. They had their own temples inside the mansions and their own wells and ponds, and did not need to come out into the village except to feed, unquote. Surprisingly too, for so insightful an author, Attica's portrayal of women leaves the reader emotionally cold. Attica's women, mostly portrayed in clusters, appear strangely cannibalistic, sucking dry the lifeblood of male-earning members. Balram Halwai has a hideous vision of his brother Kishan being eaten alive by the female bloodsuckers of his family, who scoop him out from the inside and leave him weak and helpless, until he got tuberculosis and died on the floor of a government hospital. Alternatively, one meets Balram Halwai's clusters of painted and perfumed women. I don't go to red light areas anymore. It's not right to buy and sell women who live in bird cages and get treated like animals. I only buy girls I find in five-star hotels. Attica predicts a bleak future for India. So long the consumerism-sedated, consumable young Indian sits glued to her colored TV set, watching cricket and shampoo advertisements, the great Indian Rooster Coup, to use Attica's favorite analogy, would never be destroyed. So long the slumbering young Indian expects his revolution at the cost of another's blood, that revolution would never happen. I quote, an Indian revolution, it won't happen. People in this country are still waiting for the war of their freedom to come from somewhere else, from the jungles, from the mountains, from China, from Pakistan. That will never happen. Every man, as he says, must make his own bananas. Attica predicts a bleak future for the world by believing in benign human nature. He fearlessly shows how inhuman political systems can convert humans into monsters. Balram Halwai's essential humaneness, devoid of all hypocrisy, is a slap on the face of all politicians, supposed saviors of the country. And I quote, if I were making a country, I'll get the sewage pipes first, then the democracy, then I'd go about giving pamphlets and statues of Gandhi to other people. But what do I know? I'm just a murderer. Unquote. Yet, Attica envisions a better future, a just and equitable world order where people can be independent and can perhaps govern themselves. And finally, Attica's dream remains of redeeming the future with beauty. I would end with, again, a quotation from Attica himself. The moment you recognize what is beautiful in this world, you stop being a slave. If you taught every poor boy how to paint, that would be the end of the rich in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shreya, for that elaborate presentation of Aravind Adiga's White Tiger. I have a question, not for the paper presenters and for the senior scholars and teachers, but for the students. My dear young students, may I have your attention? How many of you heard of Aravind Adiga's and White Tiger? Please raise your hands. Raise your hands. Nobody. Okay. One or two. Are you feeling shy? No. Very well. Read the novel. What I would like to say is, literature and novels are not really, they are stories. They are also stories, but they are about the world we live in. And our writers are critics. They have always been, and today, if you look at the world around us, the India around us, what is happening in there, the writers are trying to show this is India, and they also want a change for the better. Will you remember that and read our novels in that direction? Yes or no?